The small bridge of the horizon hummed with nervous energy as Earth's first diplomatic vessel approached the massive alien ship. Captain Alan Wright gripped the command chair, trying to appear calmer than he felt. After decades of searching the stars, humanity had finally made contact with an advanced alien civilization, the Vrakuri Dominion. "All communication channels open, Captain," reported Lieutenant Olivia Martinez from her console. Her fingers moved quickly across the display as she tried again. "Still no response to our greeting messages." Captain Wright nodded, studying the alien vessel through the view screen. The Vrakuri ship dwarfed the horizon, its dark hull covered in what looked like crystalline structures that pulsed with internal light. "Keep broadcasting on all frequencies. They must understand we come in peace." The mission was simple: establish first contact, exchange basic cultural information, and begin diplomatic relations. The horizon carried Earth's best linguists, scientists, and diplomats, all waiting nervously in their quarters for the historic moment. Dr. Frank Howard, the mission's lead xenobiologist, joined them on the bridge. "Their ship design suggests a highly advanced civilization, Captain. Those structures might be energy collectors or weapons, hard to tell without more data." "Weapons?" Wright raised an eyebrow. "Let's hope not. We're barely out of our solar system, and they're clearly interstellar travelers." Martinez suddenly straightened in her chair. "Captain, I'm detecting energy spikes from the alien vessel." Before Wright could respond, a blinding purple beam sliced through space and struck the horizon. The ship shuddered violently, throwing everyone against their stations. "Shields failing. Hull breach on decks 3 through 5, shouted Martinez as alarms blared throughout the ship. Wright grabbed the ship-wide communication system. "All hands. Emergency protocols. Get to the escape pods." The Vrakuri ship fired again. This time, the beam cut directly through the horizon's main section. A massive explosion rocked the vessel, and Wright knew most of his crew had just died. "Martinez, we need to go. Now." He pulled the lieutenant from her station as secondary explosions tore through the bridge. They stumbled through smoke-filled corridors, passing bodies and debris. The diplomatic mission had turned into a massacre without warning or reason. In the last functioning escape pod, Wright found a data tablet. He quickly downloaded all sensor readings of the attack while Martine sealed the hatch. "What are you doing?" she asked, blood streaming from a cut on her forehead. "Getting evidence. Earth needs to know what happened here." Wright's hands trembled as he worked. "The sensors captured something before the attack. They were scanning our databases, downloading everything about Earth." The escape pod launched, tumbling away from the dying horizon. Through the small viewport, they watched in horror as the Vrakuri ship methodically destroyed the remaining escape pods. "They're not letting anyone escape," Martinez whispered. Then, inexplicably, the alien vessel turned away, ignoring their pod as it activated what appeared to be a faster-than-light drive and disappeared. 6 days later, drifting on minimal life support, their pod was recovered by a mining vessel from Mars Colony. Wright and Martinez were the only survivors. At the emergency United Nations Security Council meeting, Wright presented the evidence they had salvaged. The sensor data showed the Vrakuri had downloaded Earth's location, population data, and defense capabilities before attacking. "This wasn't a misunderstanding," Wright told the grim-faced world leaders. "Before destroying us, they transmitted a message in multiple Earth languages they had extracted from our database. Our linguistics team translated it before they died." He played the message, and a cold, mechanical voice filled the chamber. "Your species has been evaluated and found unpredictable. Unpredictable species cannot be permitted to join the galactic community. Cleansing will commence within 1 solar cycle." Silence fell over the room until General Laura Bennett of the United Nations Space Command stood. "We need to prepare," she said simply. "We have 1 year before they return, and this time, they'll be coming for Earth." In the months following the Horizon disaster, Earth changed dramatically. For the first time in human history, nations set aside their differences and united against a common threat. The United Nations Space Command Headquarters in Geneva became the center of humanity's resistance. Maps and holographic displays filled the walls of the main war room, where military leaders from across the globe gathered daily. The countdown clock dominated the eastern wall, 245 days until the predicted Valkyrie return. "We need better shields," General Laura Bennett announced to the assembled leaders. "Our current technology wouldn't last 10 seconds against their weapons." Samuel Grant, a bearded engineer who had previously designed power systems for Mars Colony, stepped forward. "I think I have something." He projected the sensor data from the Horizon attack. "Look at the energy signature of their weapons. It operates on a rotating frequency. If we create shields that adapt to these patterns." His hands moved rapidly through the holographic model as he explained his theory. The room fell silent as the implications became clear. Humanity might have a defense. Across the world, factories converted to military production. Orbital shipyards that once built science vessels now constructed warships. Every space-capable vessel was retrofitted with Grant's experimental shields. In a high-security laboratory beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Natalie Patel worked tirelessly analyzing the only biological sample of the Valkyrie. Trace residue found on the recovered escape pod. "Their cellular structure is silicon-based, not carbon like ours," she explained to her team. "And look at this sensitivity to copper compounds. In high concentrations, it could disrupt their entire nervous system." While scientists and engineers worked, Commander Jack Fitzgerald oversaw the transformation of civilian space stations into military outposts. The massive Stanford Taurus station near Earth's moon became humanity's first line of defense, its agricultural sections converted to house fighter squadrons. "Train like your life depends on it, because it does," Fitzgerald told the pilots. Many were former commercial pilots or space tourists with minimal combat experience. What you lack in experience, make up for with determination. Alan Wright, now promoted to admiral, worked with Olivia Martinez to develop battle tactics against a technologically superior enemy. They studied historical guerrilla warfare and asymmetric conflicts, adapting ancient strategies for space combat. "We can't match them in direct confrontation," Wright explained to the military council. "But we can use our knowledge of the solar system, the asteroid belts, Jupiter's radiation fields, Saturn's rings, as tactical advantages." 9 months into preparations, long-range sensors detected a Valkyrie scout ship entering the solar system. Instead of attacking, it broadcast a message to Earth. The Security Council gathered to hear the transmission. A humanoid figure appeared on screen, its crystalline skin reflecting light in hypnotic patterns. When it spoke, its voice sounded like breaking glass. "Humans of Earth, your evaluation period has ended. Your species presents an unacceptable risk to galactic stability. You are unpredictable, violent, and technologically immature. You have 2 options. Surrender your planet for systematic cleansing, allowing 10% of your population to be relocated as a controlled research group, or face complete extinction. You have 7 rotations of your planet to decide." The transmission ended, leaving the room in silence. Finally, General Bennett stood. "Well," she said grimly, "at least they're giving us a choice this time." Samuel Grant looked up from his tablet. "The scout ship is staying at the edge of the system, probably waiting for our answer." "Then let's give them one," Admiral Wright said, his voice steady. "But not with words. Martinez, is the prototype strike craft ready?" Martinez nodded, armed with Dr. Patel's copper-based warheads. "Good," Wright said. "Let's show the Valkyrie what happens when you threaten humanity." The red dust of Mars swirled around the colony's main dome as alarms echoed through every sector. The Valkyrie fleet had arrived, bypassing Earth's defenses and heading straight for the less protected Mars colony. Their strategy was clear: eliminate humanity's outposts before attacking their homeworld. Major Lisa Blackwood stood in the colony's command center, watching as 12 massive Valkyrie ships descended through the thin Martian atmosphere. "They're trying to make an example of us," she told her officers. "They don't know what we've been preparing." Mars Colony had once been a scientific outpost with a population of 6,000. Now it was a fortress. The civilian population had been evacuated months ago, leaving behind 500 volunteer soldiers and the colony's AI coordinator, Apollo. "Valkyrie landing craft deploying," reported Sergeant Ryan Cooper from his monitoring station. "They're touching down 3 kilometers from the main dome." Blackwood nodded calmly. "Right where we want them." "Apollo, initiate Defense Protocol Alpha." "Protocol Alpha activated," responded the AI's neutral voice. "Activating underground defense systems and deploying drones." The Valkyrie had expected an easy victory. Their intelligence showed Mars Colony as a vulnerable research station. Instead, their landing parties met a network of automated turrets hidden beneath the Martian soil. Dozens of small combat drones rose from concealed bunkers, targeting the alien soldiers with weapons designed by Samuel Grant. From her command center, Blackwood watched through drone cameras as the first wave of Valkyrie troops fell back in confusion. Their crystalline armor, nearly impenetrable to conventional weapons, cracked under the copper-based ammunition Dr. Patel had developed. "They're regrouping," Cooper announced. 6 landing craft are taking off, probably heading back to their carriers for reinforcements. Blackwood activated her communication link. "All teams, Phase 2. I repeat, initiate Phase 2. Across the Martian surface, hidden missile silos opened. 36 rockets launched simultaneously, targeting not the landing craft, but the larger ships hovering above. The missiles carried Grant's specialty, electromagnetic pulse warheads designed to disrupt Valkyrie technology. 3 of the 12 Valkyrie ships lost power immediately, drifting helplessly in the Martian sky. 2 more took significant damage to their weapon systems, but the remaining 7 ships quickly adapted, rotating their shield frequencies to block the human weapons. "They're quick learners," Blackwood muttered. "Apollo, analyze their new shield pattern and transmit to Earth Command." "Analyzing," Apollo responded. "Warning, Valkyrie ships are deploying energy weapons. Impact on main dome in 15 seconds." The command center shook violently as purple energy beams struck the colony. Emergency systems activated, deploying Grant's shield technology, but Blackwood knew they couldn't withstand a prolonged assault. "All personnel, fall back to secondary positions," she ordered. "Cooper, activate the tunnel network." As the Mars defenders retreated through underground passages, the Valkyrie launched a ground assault on the main dome. They'd breached the outer shields within minutes, pouring into what they believed was the colony's only structure. Meanwhile, Blackwood led her forces to the hidden secondary base, built inside an ancient Martian crater. From there, they launched their counterattack, catching the Valkyrie in a crossfire between automated defenses and human squadrons. The battle raged for 26 hours. By the end, 300 of Blackwood's soldiers had died, but 7 Valkyrie ships had been destroyed, and the others retreated to orbit, badly damaged. As the last human defenders secured their position, Apollo made a final transmission to Earth. "Mars Colony defense analysis complete," the AI reported. "Transmitting tactical data and Valkyrie vulnerability assessment. My systems are compromised. To prevent data capture, I am initiating core deletion." Blackwood watched silently as Apollo's systems shut down one by one. The sacrifice was necessary. The battle data would help Earth prepare for the coming invasion. In orbit, the remaining Valkyrie ships transmitted footage of the battle across their communication network. For the first time, the galaxy witnessed humans fighting back and winning. The emergency alarm blared through Earth's orbital defense station as an unidentified ship appeared at the edge of the solar system. After the Mars victory, everyone expected the Valkyrie to return with a larger fleet. Instead, long-range scanners showed a vessel unlike any they had seen before. "It's not Valkyrie," reported the technician at the monitoring station. "The design is completely different." Admiral Wright studied the approaching ship on the main display. Unlike the angular, crystalline Valkyrie vessels, this ship had smooth, curved lines that reminded him of ancient sailing ships from Earth's oceans. "They're broadcasting a message," Lieutenant Martinez announced. "Audio only, in English." Wright nodded. "Let's hear it." A melodic voice filled the command center. "People of Earth, we are the Ellerin Confederation. We observe your defense of Mars colony. We wish to speak. We come in peace." After careful security protocols, a delegation from Earth met with the alien visitors on the neutral ground of the orbital station. Ambassador Daniel Morgan led the human team, with Wright and Martinez present as military advisors. The Ellorins were tall, slender beings with blue-tinted skin and 4 arms. Their ambassador, who called herself Lyra, bowed deeply to the humans. "Your resistance to the Valkyrie is unprecedented," she said, her translator converting her musical language to English. "For 3,000 years, they have cleansed worlds without significant opposition." Morgan maintained a diplomatic facade, but his knuckles whitened as he gripped his chair. "Why has no one stopped them before?" Lyra's large eyes blinked slowly. "The Valkyrie hold technological superiority over most species. The Galactic Council follows a policy of non-interference in their cleansing operations. They claim it maintains stability. Genocide maintains stability." Wright couldn't hide his disgust. "The Valkyrie target only what they call unpredictable species," Lyra explained. "Species that develop in unusual ways or show creativity beyond expected parameters." Morgan leaned forward. "And your people? Where do you stand?" "The Ellerin Confederation has opposed Valkyrie policies for centuries, but we lack the military strength to challenge them directly. We offer knowledge, technology, and alliance instead." Over the next few days, the Ellerins shared information about the wider galactic community. 17 major species formed a loose galactic council, with the Valkyrie holding significant influence through military power. The council generally avoided Earth's sector, considering it underdeveloped. "The Valkyrie evaluated your species and found you dangerous," Lyra told them. "Your rapid technological development, your adaptability, your willingness to sacrifice for abstract concepts, these traits frighten them." In the science lab, Ellerin engineers worked with Samuel Grant, sharing advanced shield technology in exchange for studying his innovative adaptations. "Your solutions are unexpected," one Ellerin scientist told Grant. "You developed in weeks what took our people decades." Meanwhile, in the tactical center, Martinez showed the Ellerins the battle recordings from Mars. "We've been fighting the Valkyrie for 3 centuries, an Ellerin commander named Tereth admitted. "Never have we seen them retreat from a primary assault." Ambassador Morgan negotiated carefully with Lyra, building the framework for an alliance. "What exactly do your people gain from helping us?" he asked directly. Lyra's expression turned solemn. "The Valkyrie have grown too powerful. The Council fears them but won't act. If Earth can demonstrate that the Dominion is not invincible, others will find courage to stand against them." As the discussions concluded, Lyra presented Morgan with a data crystal. "This contains navigation charts, communication frequencies, and identification codes for potential allies. Some may help, if approached correctly." Before departing, Tereth pulled Wright aside. "You should know, the Valkyrie are gathering their main fleet. They rarely commit such forces against a single world." "How long do we have?" Wright asked. 2 months, perhaps less. They are disturbed by your resistance." The Mars defeat was broadcast across their networks. For the first time, the galaxy has seen the Dominion fail. Tereth placed a 4-fingered hand on Wright's shoulder. "You are not alone anymore." As the Ellerin ship departed, Earth began integrating the new technology and preparing for the next confrontation. They were still outmatched, but now they had allies and hope. Admiral Catherine Miller stood on the bridge of the Defiance, Earth's newest warship built with Ellerin technology and human ingenuity. Through the view screen, She observed the distant Vakari supply world. Colo 7. Intelligence from their Elleran allies confirmed this planet supported the Vakari fleet preparing to attack Earth. All systems ready, Admiral, reported her executive officer. Strike teams are prepared for deployment. Miller nodded, her expression determined. 6 weeks of planning had led to this moment. Humanity's first offensive action against the Vakari Dominion. Rather than waiting for the attack on Earth, they would strike first. Begin approach sequence, she ordered. Activate stealth systems. The Defiance moved silently through space, its hull coated with a material that absorbed sensor scans. This technology, combined with Samuel Grant's shield innovations, made the ship nearly invisible until it reached the outer atmosphere of Colo 7. "We're being scanned," announced the sensor officer. "Vakari defense systems have detected us." Miller remained calm. Deploy countermeasures. Launch fighters. 20 smaller craft erupted from the Defiance's launch bays, each piloted by veterans of the Mars battle. They scattered in predetermined patterns, drawing Vakari fire away from the main ship. On the planet below, alarm signals blared as orbital defense platforms turned to target the human vessels. Purple energy beams cut through space, but the Earth fighters executed evasive maneuvers designed by Lieutenant Martinez. "Main facility located," reported the tactical officer. "Coordinates locked." Miller opened a ship-wide channel. "All personnel, Phase 2 begins now. Dr. Walsh, prepare for deployment." In the ship's laboratory, Dr. Kevin Walsh and his team made final adjustments to their delivery system. Based on Dr. Patel's research, they had developed a copper-based compound that could temporarily neutralize Vakari biological functions without killing them. "Remember," Walsh told his team as they loaded the canisters, "this isn't about revenge. We're demonstrating we can strike back without resorting to their methods." The Defiance dove through the atmosphere, taking heavy fire from ground installations. Several shield sections failed, and the ship shuddered with each impact. "Approaching target," the pilot announced, voice steady despite the chaos. "Deployment zone in 30 seconds." Miller gripped her command chair. "All strike teams, prepare for drop. Defense teams, stand ready." Lieutenant Eric Summers led the first strike team from the launch bay. Their small craft skimmed just above the surface of Colo 7, heading for the main supply depot. Behind them, the Defiance released Walsh's biological agent into the atmosphere surrounding the Vakari command centers. First effects showing on sensors, Walsh reported from his lab. "The compound is working. Vakari life signs are showing reduced activity." On the ground, Summers and his team secured the supply depot with minimal resistance. The Vakari guards lay immobilized, their crystalline bodies temporarily paralyzed by the airborne compound. "Command center secured," Summers reported, downloading their data cores now. The mission progressed smoothly until a previously undetected Vakari destroyer emerged from behind the planet's moon. It opened fire immediately, its weapons more powerful than anything they had encountered before. Evasive maneuvers, Miller ordered as the first shots struck the Defiance. "Recall all ground teams." Summers' voice came through the communication system, distorted by interference. "Negative, Admiral. Data transfer at 60%. We need 3 more minutes." The Defiance took another hit, losing propulsion on its port side. Miller knew they couldn't withstand the destroyer's firepower for long. "Lieutenant, abort the mission." "That's an order." "With respect, Admiral," Summers replied calmly. "The intelligence we're gathering could save Earth. My team will hold position. Just be ready to extract the data package." Miller watched in horror as the Vakari destroyer positioned itself between the Defiance and the ground team's position. Summers' next transmission was clear and determined. "Package sent. Get our people home, Admiral." The supply depot erupted in a blinding explosion as Summers detonated his team's remaining charges, creating a distraction that allowed the Defiance to slip past the destroyer. As they limped back toward Earth, Miller stood silently before the crew. "Lieutenant Summers and his team gave their lives to ensure our success. We now have complete data on the Valkyrie fleet movements, supply lines, and battle plans. Across the galaxy, news of the human strike spread rapidly. The species the Valkyrie had dismissed as primitive had not only defended themselves, but had successfully attacked a Dominion stronghold. The massive chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with the voices of 17 different species. Ambassador Daniel Morgan stood on the central platform, trying to appear calm despite the tension. This was humanity's first appearance before the Council, occurring in a neutral space station at the edge of the Orion Arm. Behind Morgan stood General Paul Henderson, his military uniform crisp and formal. They represented Earth in what might be the most important diplomatic meeting in human history. "The Council recognizes the representatives of Earth," announced the mediator, a tall being with iridescent skin. "You may address the assembly." Morgan stepped forward. "Honorable representatives, I thank you for this opportunity. Earth comes before you not as supplicants, but as equals seeking resolution to unprovoked aggression by the Valkyrie Dominion." The Valkyrie representative, a crystalline being named Zexanar, immediately rose from his seat. "There is nothing to discuss. The humans are an unpredictable species that presents a clear danger to galactic stability. Our cleansing operation is standard procedure." "Standard procedure?" Henderson couldn't contain himself. "You attacked our diplomatic vessel without warning and attempted to exterminate our Mars colony." The mediator raised a hand for silence. "The attack on the human vessel Horizon has been verified by Council investigators. The Valkyrie action violated Protocol 317 regarding first contact procedures." This statement caused a ripple of murmurs through the chamber. Morgan had spent weeks with Elleran diplomats, learning Council procedures and how to navigate this complex political landscape. "We do not seek punishment for past actions," Morgan continued. "We seek recognition of Earth's sovereignty and a guarantee against future aggression." Zexanar's crystalline body flashed with angry colors. "The humans have already demonstrated their violent nature by attacking our supply world. They deployed biological weapons against our people." "A non-lethal compound," Morgan corrected. "Unlike the Valkyrie weapons that killed thousands of our people, we could have destroyed your facilities and personnel completely, but chose restraint." The Elleran representative spoke next. "The Council should note that humanity defended itself with remarkable effectiveness, despite their technological disadvantages. This suggests the Valkyrie assessment of the species was fundamentally flawed." For hours, the debate continued. Other Council species questioned both sides, some clearly intimidated by the Valkyrie, others showing cautious support for Earth. Morgan presented evidence of the Dominion's cleansing operations against other developing worlds, information provided by their Elleran allies. During a recess, Morgan and Henderson reviewed their strategy in a private chamber. "They're divided," Henderson observed. "Some fear the Valkyrie, others resent them, but none want to openly oppose them." Morgan nodded, "Which is why we need to force the issue." He activated a communication device. "Admiral Miller, are you prepared?" "The fleet is in position," came her reply. "Waiting for your signal." When the Council reconvened, Morgan approached the platform with new confidence. "Before we continue, I have been authorized to deliver humanity's official message to the galaxy." He pressed a button on his datapad. "This transmission is being broadcast on all frequencies across Council space." On the massive screens surrounding the chamber appeared Admiral Wright, standing on the bridge of Earth's newest warship. "To all civilizations of the galaxy," Wright began, his voice steady and determined. "Humanity extends greetings and an unambiguous message. We seek peaceful relations with all species. We have no territorial ambitions beyond our solar system. But let our position be absolutely clear. Earth will defend itself against any aggression with all means at our disposal." The screen shifted to show Earth's assembled fleet. Dozens of ships incorporating both human ingenuity and Elleran technology. "We are a young species, still learning about the wider galaxy. We recognize our technological limitations. But as the Valkyrie have discovered, Humanity's greatest strength is our refusal to surrender when threatened. This is not a boast, but a promise and a warning. We won't back down. Not now, not ever. The council chamber fell silent. Then, unexpectedly, the representative from the Krellan Republic stood. The Krellan people recognize Earth's right to self-determination and offer trade relations. One by one, 5 more council species made similar declarations. The balance of power was shifting before their eyes. Sexnar rose, his crystalline form vibrating with barely contained rage. This changes nothing. The Dominion will. A new dawn. The signing ceremony took place aboard the neutral Aileron vessel orbiting Earth. After weeks of intense negotiations, the non-aggression pact between humanity and the Vrikari Dominion was finally ready. Ambassador Daniel Morgan signed for Earth, while Supreme Commander Tirvex represented the Vrikari. Neither smiled as they pressed their palms to the document's authentication panel. This wasn't friendship or true peace, merely recognition that open conflict would benefit neither side. The terms are clear, Morgan stated as the document was sealed. Earth and its colonies are recognized as sovereign territory. The Vrikari Dominion will respect our borders, and we will respect theirs. Tyrvex's crystalline form shifted colors slightly. The Dominion accepts these terms with the understanding that human expansion will proceed according to Council guidelines. Back on Earth, the news of the treaty was met with mixed reactions. People celebrated in the streets, relieved that the existential threat had passed. Yet military leaders like Admiral Wright and General Henderson remained cautious. "They'll be watching us," Wright told the United Nations Security Council during a private briefing, "waiting for any sign of weakness or violation they can exploit." General Henderson nodded in agreement, "which is why our work is just beginning. We've earned a respite, not a permanent peace." In the months that followed, Earth underwent a transformation. The global unity forged in crisis didn't dissolve with the signing of the treaty. Instead, nations continued their unprecedented cooperation, focusing on rebuilding and strengthening their position in the galaxy. Samuel Grant led the New Earth Technology Institute, where human engineers worked alongside Aileron advisors to adapt and improve upon alien technology. His experimental shield designs were now standard on all Earth vessels. "We're still decades behind most Council species," Grant explained to visiting officials. "But we're learning faster than anyone expected." Dr. Natalie Patel expanded her research to include medical applications that would benefit both humans and their new allies. Her work with alien biology had opened new frontiers in treating human diseases. "Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs come from the most unexpected challenges," she told her research team. 1 year after the treaty signing, Admiral Wright and Lieutenant Martinez stood on the observation deck of Earth's orbital shipyard. Below them, the newly commissioned exploration vessel Endeavour prepared for its maiden voyage. "Hard to believe how much has changed," Martinez said, watching the bustling activity around the sleek ship. "A year ago, we were fighting for survival." Wright nodded. "And now we're heading back to the stars, this time with maps and allies." The Endeavour's mission was to establish formal relations with the species who had supported Earth during the crisis. Though primarily diplomatic, the ship carried advanced sensors and defensive systems. Humanity had learned its lesson about venturing unprepared into space. Captain Wright, Lieutenant Martinez, came a voice over the communication system. "Your shuttle is ready for boarding." Martinez raised an eyebrow. "Captain Wright." He smiled slightly. "They offered me Admiral's stars to stay behind at a desk. I declined. Some of us belong out there." Together, they would command the Endeavour on humanity's first official diplomatic mission beyond their solar system. Earth was taking its place in the galactic community, cautiously, but with confidence. In the Galactic Council chamber, the mediator updated the official registry. Earth. Classification: Emerging Spacefaring Civilization. Status: Protected under Treaty 7291. Notes: Demonstrated exceptional defensive capabilities and rapid technological adaptation. Approach with respect. The Vrakari representative observed this entry with the equivalent of a frown. His aide leaned closer. Supreme Commander Tervex requests your assessment of the humans' future development. They bear watching, the representative replied. Their technology advances quickly. Their alliances grow stronger. But most concerning is their spirit. They simply refuse to be conquered. On Earth, children now studied alien languages in school. Citizens looked up at the night sky with new understanding. Defense systems remained on alert, and military training continued. Humanity maintained its vigilance. But exploration ships like the Endeavour represented something new. Humanity reaching outward not from fear or aggression, but from curiosity and hope. The galaxy had learned that humans would defend themselves fiercely when threatened, but they would also extend friendship to those who offered the same.